So I want to play this segment here from Al Golden, our new defense coordinator. Because one thing we know about Zach Taylor is he does not like playing rookies, right? He's not a guy, not a coach that likes to play the rookies right away. Likes to wait, put them in eventually. Obviously, that sometimes is a detriment, sometimes it's a good thing. Whatever your opinion is, your opinion. Here's what Al Golden has to say about playing rookies.
What's your philosophy on playing rookies from their first day?
We're not drafting them to sit next to us, so it's really important that, as I said in the big room, just the onboarding is going to be really important. Do we have a great plan? Not just, coach talk, but do we have a great plan to help them make that journey as quickly as possible from, a drafted rookie to someone that can impact the game? And that's our job. That might be our number one job. Is, whether they're free agents or rookies, how quickly can we get them to make the transition so that they can play fast and get their talent into the game? And ultimately, that's why we draft young people, right? Because it's talent procurement. So how do we get that talent in the game? How do we, even if it's slowly but surely, whatever reps that they take, that they can impact the game?
I absolutely freaking love that philosophy. And that's exactly that's the correct answer, okay? That's the correct answer. Your job as coaches is to get these players up to speed as quick as possible, to develop these players, to take, if you're going to take a project in the draft, because some teams do, and we have done it before in 5th, 6th, 7th round. You're not always taking the best player available. Sometimes you're taking a project. You're taking a guy who maybe he has speed. Maybe he's really good with his hands. Maybe he doesn't have that, the whole package together. That's why he's a 5th, 6th, 7th round pick. Your job is to develop him into potentially a starter or at least a rotational guy. That's your job. Your job isn't to have that rookie sit on the sideline and never play football ever. The point of using draft capital on a player is to start them. Now, of course, the higher you go up the board, the more you have to get them going. Myles Murphy, for example. Our old defensive line coach did not develop him. I'm hoping our new defensive line coach will. I believe he will, 100%. Obviously, Frank Pullock, not the greatest at developing offensive line players. We now have Peters, who is and can develop players. So that's number one. I love that philosophy of we don't draft you to sit next to you. We draft you to make this team better. We draft you to get us over the hump and help us win a Super Bowl. I love that philosophy. That's number one. Because again, that's not the philosophy I feel like we've had in this building for the last couple years. We need that philosophy. We drafted you, you need to play. But it's our job to make sure you can play. Number two, when it comes to rookies, there's only a certain amount of positions I feel like, maybe they shouldn't be thrusted into the lineup right away and thrown to the wolves, right? Offensive linemen, I can understand that. I've said many times with Trent Brown's situation, I wanted Trent Brown to be the starter, and I wanted Amarius Mims to sit behind him and learn from him, right? You sit 1 year, you're going to be the starter. Obviously, injuries happened. Amarius Mims had to take over. He did wonderful. Very proud of him, very happy with him. But for offensive linemen, I'm okay with them sitting. Maybe not a year in all sense of purposes, but even then, let's say for example, he sat for a year, but it doesn't mean you can't utilize him in other ways. And we did, and I really am happy how we did. Even when Trent Brown was the starting right tackle, we still put Amarius Mims in on jumbo packages. We put him in on goal line situations. We tried to get him utilized as much as possible, even though he wasn't, the starter. Doesn't mean you can't utilize him. We did the same thing with Matt Lee. And that's, again, what we need to do. Just because the rookie maybe is not the starter day one of that position, right? Maybe there's a veteran ahead of him. You need to get him in that rotation. You need to get him on the field. You need to give him some reps. The only way a player is going to get better is, one, great coaching. Coaching, developing him, helping him, working with him, teaching him what he needs to know. Number two is playtime. You need to get him snaps. You need to get him in the game. Game time action, very important. Sitting on the sideline does nothing. So, quarterback is the other position. I will say that I understand when coaches say, we don't want to put the quarterback in yet. Let's let him sit on the sideline and learn from the starter. I think that's also a good philosophy to have. Sometimes some franchises, they can't afford to have him sit on the sideline. He needs to be the guy. Coaches' jobs are fired if he doesn't become the guy. Which, again, coaching job to develop him. The rest of the guys, rest of the positions, I'm with coach here when it comes to put him out there. We didn't draft you to be to sit next to us. We drafted you to be that rotational guy. So McKinley Jackson, for example, obviously got hurt last year a little bit, but when he was back and healthy, he's out there. Chris Jenkins, he's out there. Even all the way up to a 7th round pick, Anthony obviously had the PI against the Chiefs and questionable pass interference call in that game. He's out there. So, again, I love this philosophy because this is the right philosophy to have. This is the right mindset to have. And we need to take this mindset and push it farther and farther. And I feel like the last couple years, we haven't had this mindset as much. Now, to Coach Taylor's credit, last year we did have the mindset, for a couple players. But we just need to continue this philosophy, continue getting better, continue improving, and just continue going in the right direction. And I think this is another, again, really great, just a great statement across the board for Al Golden. I saw a lot of people saying that, well, at the end of the day, Al Golden just saying what every coach says, and he's just saying what you're supposed to say. Maybe so. But I feel like at the end of the day, though, he's saying stuff that he truly believes. And if you watch Notre Dame football and you see what he's done with Notre Dame, you realize that he preaches this stuff, but he lives by his preaching. Like, it's not just preaching just to say it and put it out there like, Ward Father here. He actually believes what he says, and he puts in principle what he says. So, very excited for him. Very excited to see him hitting the ground running for us. And let's go, boys. Hooray!